We are here, and I'm so excited because I have really some very exciting things to show you. And even though sometimes I'm late, most of the time I'm late because I'm working either before I get on or because I was working late last night for the early birds. I like being an early bird. I really do like being an early bird. Sometimes I do, if I'm such an early bird, I don't really like going to bed at 9 o'clock though. So, you know, I'd rather be going to bed at midnight. Yeah, right around midnight. And then being an early bird, like 5:45. Yeah. But I need more sleep than that. I do. And most people do. Most people need more sleep. I like 8 hours of sleep. I do. I feel like my body needs that time to repair. It's so it shall be written, so it shall be done. I watched 10 Commandments. Loved it. Loved it. Told you you should watch it. The reading room. I did the reading room. I told you last Thursday. Friday morning, I did Passover and read the Passover from the Bible Stories book that I have, which has the most beautiful art pictures. I have to look in the back. Maybe it's got some, credits back there in the back of the book, but I didn't see any credit for the art. I probably didn't look hard enough. They just probably put it in a different place. I expected it someplace, like right underneath the picture, and it wasn't there. It was probably someplace else. You would think it would have to be. Anyway, I'm so excited. I'm not even going to take my drink of coffee because I could do it in just a second. So I'm so thankful, right, for my team, that helped me put together. Yeah, it's such an interesting triangle thing, isn't it? That helped me put together, in my mind anyway, they helped me find the stuff I needed to give you guys these videos. I can't tell you how excited I am. So if you remember where we left off, so our topic here is, I'm so excited I want to get to it. And you know me, always got at least 20 minutes worth of before I get to the thing that I'm ready to start. Okay, so the topic we're talking about is helping behaviors. That's where we left off. But the important thing about this is that we are understanding the mechanism by which these things occur. Over and over and over again, I'm going to repeat this. Why? Because people, including ourselves, really have a lack of faith, right? We have a hard time believing in things that we can't see. We want the evidence and we want the proof. And God would not have made us creatures who need evidence and proof that we acquire through our senses, our five senses, if he didn't want us to find him that way. Let me rephrase that. If God didn't want us to find him through our logic, evidence, and five senses, then he would have had a different plan, right? So he gave us the tools, and they are very important tools by which to find evidence. How do we do that? We have the scientific process is what we do, okay? So we can apply that to our spiritual knowledge as well. It's not going to give us the same kinds of eye-seeing evidence that we like in other areas, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to have evidence. I'm going to say it a third time. God would not have given us our cognitive abilities and our senses to find him if that's not going to work for us, if that's not how he wanted us, if we're not going to find him that way. He gave us those things to find him, okay? And we are seekers. We are natural seekers. So I will never dispute, or I'll dispute it, right? But if it's evidence there, no, then I won't. So we're looking for the mechanism, and the mechanism we can find through our senses, through science. We can find out the mechanism through science. The mechanism by which our spiritual world is connected to the physical one. I don't even think I've ever said those words before. I haven't. We're trying to find the mechanism by which the spiritual world is connected to the physical world, aren't we? Because that's where our faith lies. We can't see it. I can't see you. I am. I can't see you. I wasn't, saying I am, right? He's saying I am. I can't see you. I am. I exist. I exist. Find me. I exist. Find me. Okay, well, how can I find you? I need to find a mechanism by which the spiritual world is connected to the physical world. Then I will know you. Then I will know you exist. Then I will know you exist. We're just right there, right on the cusp of seeing that. Faux show. Faux show. Okay. So we've talked about, helping behaviors. We've talked about what it does for our body. And here we're talking about that, what it does for our PNS. And now I'm showing you, right, in particular, what does it do for our brain? Well, if we are functioning the way that we are supposed to be functioning, what does it do for our brain? All of a sudden, I'm like in the slides, and that's not even what I'm going to show you, but that's okay. No. What does it do for our functioning brain? It helps regulate our brain. What does that mean? Approach, avoid. Every time I say regulate, I want you to think approach, avoid. So so it's not foreign to you. Even when they tell you about regulation, right? When they're talking about political, like regulating, making laws. For what? For us to do this, but not that. Approach, avoid. Every time you hear the word regulation, I want you to think approach, avoid. Left brain, right brain. You can think about it that way if you want to, but really you need to think of what left brain means, right? Left brain means approach, right brain means avoid, basically, right? Now, I'm going to impress you with some real scientific studies that we're going to do a deep dive in regarding helping behaviors. I'm so excited. Okay, so deep dive into these helping behaviors. So since we met, I have been trying to find a series of videos. I found one video out there, and again, this is so disturbing to me how the algorithms are not opening up our minds, but they're closing them down in order to focus only on that which they give us, okay? So let's take a look at that. It's so interesting. I want you to keep that in the back of your mind, right? Because we're going to talk, what are they giving us? What are they feeding us? What are they giving us? What are they feeding us? And I'm finding it, again, very clearly in the algorithms when I'm doing a Google search, and the same thing with DuckDuckGo. And to me, that really is DuckDuckGo. Hello, I don't even know. Sounds like it's from over there, from the chicken disease place. Duck chicken. Sounds like it's from the chicken disease place is what I'm thinking, because I keep saying that this is the ultimate experiment. We've been classified that way. Where does that language come from? The ultimate experiment in hope. What up? Okay. Now, these might get hit with copyrights. I'm not sure if they're going to get, it's educational purposes. As long as this is for educational purposes, I do know that I can use them. Whether or not you can continue to use them, I don't know. We'll see. But this is good stuff. So from, because we're in the spiritual classroom. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. Thank you for joining me. I am the teacher. This is the classroom, and this is the spiritual classroom. Look at how excited I am. The most exciting class. Philosophical is pretty exciting as well, too. Just love it. And I also love, the other thing I love is that I'm not on a semester schedule with you, which means I don't have to continue to just cram the data in. We can sit back and relax. Sometimes I talk at a very fast pace, which is good for you who are like speeded up. And sometimes I slow things way down, which is great for you who like to chew it up and digest. I just think that this classroom, if you're not excited about it, I'm excited about it. I don't know why you wouldn't be excited about it. I'm so excited about it. And even more so. So, my little triune helped me find these, and I found them that fast. And not only did I find them that fast, but I found the Robbers Cave study that I wanted to talk about in that slide. And it was all in a special presentation that I did at Oakland University. And it was a special presentation that I did at Oakland University, which was on compassion. I was so happy about it. I was. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. And I'm just thinking about a few other ones that I did too. I did one on fear. It was really, really good. They were fun. But, so I went today, just right here at lunchtime, I found all of it, and I found all these videos, and you are going to see video after video, but they are all on one website. I've got to put that down. I've got to put that website down there to make sure that you get it, so that I reference it. And now I'm going to just show you. I'm not even going to tell you. If you want a reference, I'm going to be talking about the two pictures that are on the right there. So the top picture is demonstrating helping behavior, and the bottom picture is demonstrating hindering behavior. And I just want to say, because it's not said anywhere, and I'm afraid I'm going to forget, so I need to say this right now, and that is that the eyeballs made a difference. All right, so you're going to see these characters in particular with eyeballs. All the characters have eyeballs, all right? But that made a difference. Now, a puppet would be scary if it didn't have eyeballs. We're going to see in a minute videos with puppets. And we talked about puppets as well in the giving, right? So we're going to see that study that was done, a video of that actual study that was done that gave us the gray bars. Sorry about that. That gave us the gray bars there, okay? And then we're going to see the videos also that were on actual studies that are done on the right there of those cute little pictures there with the sky that I explained helping behavior, the arrow up, and hindering behavior, the arrow down. They're very short video clips, which is awesome because they don't need to be long. And what I didn't want to forget to tell you is that all of these will have eyeballs. All of them will have eyeballs. It made a difference in particular in that study right there. So the one where we've got the triangle pushing the circle up, or the square hindering, right? Helping up or hindering pushing down, right? All right, so I just wanted to remind you of that. I didn't want to send you back to the other video to remind you, to tell you that we did that study. They did that study. We as if I did it, right? No, I did not, but I read it and loved it so many times and studied it very many times. It's really, really good, and we're going to study it today too. So for my critical thinking classroom, we're going to take a look at how this study was performed to see if it was performed in a good way, to see if the methods were good methods. They wanted to see whether or not they got the same effect, the same outcome, and we didn't talk about the outcome yet. If they got the same outcome when that circle, triangle, or square had eyeballs, or if it didn't have eyeballs. Okay, so helping push up, the triangle helping the circle go up the hill with eyeballs, as you see it and as we'll see in every video, okay? Or the triangle helping push the circle up and neither one of them have eyeballs. The triangle doesn't have eyeballs or the circle doesn't have eyeballs. Did we get the same outcome? Okay, we haven't talked about the outcome yet. Did we get the same outcome? In the second one, so just keep our minds wrapped on this. In the second one, where the square is pushing the circle down the hill, they did it again with eyeballs, as we see it and as we will see in every one of the videos I'm going to show you, okay? Or without eyeballs. Did they do it? Okay, so they did it both with eyeballs, pushing it down, hindering, with and without eyeballs. Did they get the same results when they had eyeballs and when they didn't have eyeballs? And I'm going to tell you the answer. We still don't know the results. I'm going to tell you the answer. The answer is no, they did not. They did not. When they had eyeballs on there, they got an entirely different reaction than when they didn't have eyeballs on there. Okay? All right. And what it was they saw the behaviors with eyeballs as being helping behaviors, pushing them up, helping them up, or seeing them as hindering behaviors. The eyeballs helped the young children see those behaviors actually as helping behaviors or hindering behaviors. They did not recognize them as helping and hindering behaviors when they didn't have eyeballs. How do we know? Because we know that there were no differences in their reaction to the helping condition, the helping group, those children who saw helping, right? As opposed to those who saw hindering. There was a difference in those when they saw helping behaviors versus when they saw hindering behaviors, but only when those shapes had eyeballs on them. So I'm going to draw the conclusion for you. They saw them as human beings. They saw them as more human-like. So they reacted to the helping behaviors or the hindering behaviors when they had eyeballs. Why? We can theorize, generalize. It was likely because they saw them more as human beings. All right? So empathy, mirror neurons, still the importance of the eyeballs, right? They thought they were going to do something when they covered up us with the masks. But we still have a great importance in eyeballs. And they couldn't cover up our eyeballs because then we'd be bumping into each other and we couldn't drive. Let's watch all the videos. I'm going to just show you one after the other and then we'll talk about them. Okay? Okay, Dr. Feravich, I'm so excited. Show me. You think you're excited. I'm excited.
How do we know you'll love pretzel crust? Because this person said they kiss every Little Caesars employee right on the mouth for...
Okay, so I said I wasn't going to talk, but I am going to talk. And what I'm saying is you saw the first video was the helping video, and the second one was the hindering video, right? Where the square was pushing the circle down, okay? I'm gonna say something to Lucy, but you guys are gonna be able to hear me. Lucy. Okay, so same thing there, the helping video and then the hindering video, right? Helping open up the case or closing or hindering them from opening it up, right? Smashing it closed. Okay, let's see what this one is. I forgot. Okay, so that was the giving video where the one gave back the ball, right? Okay, and so that was the taking video then, right? That was the video where instead of giving, they were taking. Okay, let's see this one. I forgot.
Now I want you to meet my friend Monkey. Hello. Do you want to say hello? Can I have Monkey back? We're going to play a game.
This one clearly is going to be the one that is, this is the video that the data we saw was based on, right? So giving treats, giving a found treat. This is just a very short clip of that video, all right?
Yeah. Look, Monkey has a bowl just like you. Yeah. But both you and Monkey don't have any treats. Oh, no. You don't have any treats, and neither does Monkey. That's right. But look, I found even more treats, and I'm going to give them all to you. Treats. But, you know, I don't see any more treats. Will you give one to Monkey?
Now remember also that what the researchers are doing is they are, this one again, you're more familiar with, so I'm stopping a little bit. Remember what the researchers are doing. They are looking for the reaction of the child. And are we seeing differences in the levels of happiness as we go through? So she got her treats, right? She was given treats. She met the puppy. She met the puppet, right? So what were her expressions? Remember what we said. These individuals are coding the reaction of the child. Two people, usually two people, are coding the reaction of the child. And in their codes, they should be able to capture some of these subtle differences that we see in their expressions of happiness in these different conditions: meeting the puppet, getting a treat, and then watch, sharing a treat. The researcher shares a treat. We're seeing these different conditions, okay? These different, slightly different situations, all in this one, right? All in this one, slightly different giving conditions, all in the same scenario with this one child.
Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy.
Look at her reaction.
Oh, God,
She just gave a treat. Now she's taking a treat. She's eating her own treat. Watch her reaction.
I found one more treat. Will you give it to Monkey? Yeah.
Giving a found treat to the monkey.
Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Look, I found one more treat. I'm going to give this one to Monkey. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Treats.
Okay, how about that one? How about that one? I'm going to stop for just a minute. I said I wasn't going to stop. That was such a good one because that was all of the bars that we saw on that experiment. And let me we're going to talk about the methods for all of this. So let's get going if we're going to. Let's continue. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We are going to talk because I know what the next one is. No, I don't. We already did do that one. Good. Okay. Just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm to my last one. I just had to make sure that you saw all of them. Let me talk about the methodology, and then I'm going to get to the next one. Then we'll get to the next one. No. Here's one more you have to see.
Now I want you to meet my friend Monkey.
I don't think I put one of them in there. Give me 1 second. I have to look at this one. I have to look for one to see where I put this. I don't want to go to the last one because I know where that one's going to lead to. And I need to look at the measure, which I was so excited I don't think I put it up. Okay, all right. So I've got the last two. The last two videos that I want to show you have to do with how they were measuring their choice for those puppets. All right. So Remember what I said yesterday. What I said was that as scientists, the way that we measure something for an infant, we determine how they like something, how much they like something by when they reach for something, right? Just like at a very young age, children are reaching for their mama over strangers, even aunts and uncles, brothers and sisters. Why? Because that's their favorite choice. So we know that when children reach for something, that is what they want. That is their favorite choice. So mom and dad are here. They reach for mom. They want mom over dad. If I put two puppets in front of that child, I would expect would reach for the puppet that they wanted most. So you can see here now that we've got helping behaviors where they are sharing the ball and giving it back or taking the ball, where they are pushing up a shape or pushing it down a hillside, where they are helping a puppet open up a box or hindering and closing the box. All right? So we have all of these different scenarios. I want you to notice that in each of these scenarios, I'm going to play two of them again. Okay? And notice how one is a giving scenario and the other one is a taking scenario. That's the one I'm going to show you. And you're going to notice that the actions of the puppets are exactly the same except for the giving and the taking. Okay? That's how we make sure that everything else is controlled for. It's called control. All right? We're learning about the mechanism by which we can see that this giving actually leads to positive outcomes as we were promised. And in fact, I'll throw another stat in here for you. We know that of all ages, when we're looking at reactions, like we are measuring the reaction, which I'm going to show you in a minute, the reactions, the feelings, the self-reports are always more positive when we give than when we receive. Just like scripture tells us. We've been measuring this stuff actually inadvertently, because most scientists don't want to measure it, but sometimes inadvertently, sometimes on purpose, lots of times, as in I talk about with Seligman in our critical thinking classroom on self-esteem, and I'm talking about that. So we are measuring, I say inadvertently, but sometimes it is. So, but some people have been looking at this for a very long time, since the 1970s. So that to me is a long time, about this idea that giving is really more important. And even before that, with the humanistic movement in the 1930s, actually was really looking at, and that's actually where I got my scientific and spiritual drive from. My spirit, looking at the evidence behind my spirituality, was from understanding the humanistic movement, which celebrates Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that we have higher needs, right? Okay, so what I want you to notice, I'm going to show you the two short videos again. This one of the sharing or taking, okay? Sharing or taking the ball. But what you're noticing is that everything else is the same in the video. There's a reason I want to show you this. We have to know the mechanism is trustworthy. When we examine the mechanism, we have to know it's trustworthy. We have to know the science is worthy of our trust, right? Okay, so let's watch these again. Notice how they're turning there, right? And then the one runs away. Gave him the ball, but ran away. So notice the behaviors of the puppets, right? And isn't that a great background for those puppets besides, right? Isn't that a great background for them? I think that it is, because you can't even see the person. turns, bounces the ball so many times, turns, retreats. The only difference between those two videos, the giving and the receiving videos, or the giving and the taking videos, the only thing, notice how the elephant lays down and the other one lays down. 1, 2, right? Okay. Elephant comes in, bounces the ball. 1, 2, then rolls the ball. Every one of those bounces are the same. Every one of those movements, rolling over, right? Backing away, are exactly the same. Backing out of the picture, exactly the same. The only difference is one time they don't have the ball because they gave it back, and the other time they do have the ball. All right. So this is how we begin to trust science. We call that the method. That is the method, the mechanism by which we get to this conclusion. That's our method, the mechanism by which we get to the conclusion. Okay? All right. Now, what I want you to watch is the measure of the choice. Now we're looking at, so there are two puppets. There was a helping puppet and a hindering puppet. A puppet that gave the ball back and a puppet that took the ball, right? So a positively framed puppet and a negatively framed puppet. And in a good scientific study, sometimes it would be the elephant that would be positive. Sometimes it would be the brown bear that would be positive. Sometimes it would be something else that would be, in a good experiment, they would change that puppet that was good over and over, and the puppet that was bad or didn't help, right? They would change that puppet over and over again. All right? Now let's look at the method over here for the choices. This is just two examples. One was a what was it really? A 4-month-old and an 8-month-old? Yes. A 4-month-old and an 8-month-old is what they said. All right. I think this is the 4-month-old first.
Hi. Look. Hi. What do you like? That guy? All right.
Okay, now that was very short. I'm going to show you the 8-month one now, okay?
Hi. Look. Hi. Who do you like? That guy. That was very...
I'm going to play that one more time, okay?
Hi. Look. Hi. Who do you like? That guy. That was very...
Okay, now, to me, it was very clear that she was waving the one, and the other one we couldn't see. Now, I know as a professional and as a scientist, I am quite certain that they did not do that where they waved the one and not the other one. We don't see the other hand. It's just like this. So we see her. Is that the one you want? She's waving it. Let's look at it again. But we can't see it. And it's a little bit hard because I can't get the full screen. It takes me a second to interact with it to get the full screen. I'm trying to interact as fast as I can. Oh, I think I am. I think I can. Oops.
Hi. Look.
See, she's waving that. But you can't see the other one.
What do you like?
And she was, and the infant was looking at the other one. So it's to me, the question there is the video, not the method. But it does leave doubt when I watch the video, doesn't it? So we have to pay attention to what the actual method was. Again, she's like, which one do you want? Now I'm waving my other hand. You can't see that I'm waving my hand. But the infant did look at the other hand first, and then the one hand that we saw waving, right? So we have to pay attention to the methods that the individuals are using, because they were so meticulous about making sure every one of those puppets were doing exactly the same thing. My guess is that they were just as meticulous about waving their hand, the puppets, holding the puppets in their hands and waving them in the same way, right? It's not evident on the video, but what I think that does is allows people to question psychology. And it's the reason why some people are just like, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about and they're all for evilness and yada, yada, yada. No, we're looking to examine exactly the benefit, and believers like me, in helping behaviors. We're looking to examine the benefit in these positive behaviors: optimism, helping one another, loving one another, honesty, working hard. That's what I study. And we don't want to study it under, false pretenses. But as a believer, I might believe that it's going to come out a certain way, right? But as a believer, I also would not be caught trying to influence the outcome, because I know as a believer the consequences of doing that. Okay, now here's another really great video for you as well. Okay, Dr. Feravich, I can't wait. You can't wait. Wait till you see this. I'm telling you. Let me turn me off and turn you guys on to this.
I would describe my political views as the new right.
I say that I'm left.
Feminism today is man-hating.
I would describe myself as a feminist, 100%.
I don't believe that climate change exists.
We're not taking enough action on climate change.
I think it's about time these people got off the high horse and started looking for credible problems that actually exist.
It's absolutely critical that trans people have their own voice.
That's not right. You can't, you're a man, be a man, or you're a female, be a female.
Women do need to remember that we need you to have our children.
Could I be friends with someone that says a woman's place is in the home?
Right, okay, well, I'm an expert at flat packs. If you have any trouble, just watch me.
So it's that I've got your instructions here.
I think so.
Let me help you.
Let's just that bit there.
Describe what it is like to be you in 5 adjectives.
Okay, frustrating.
Dedicated.
Opinionated.
Lucky.
Ambitious.
Offensive.
Solemn. I have ups and downs.
Strong.
I want to say attacked. Misunderstood.
Name 3 things you and I have in common.
We're both male, we're both confident, and we're both loudly spoken.
We know each other better than people who've known each other for 10 minutes should.
You seem quite ambitious and positive, and you got this really got a glow. Do you know what I'm saying? Your aura's pretty cool.
I'm sensing, are you former military or something?
People have said that, but there is no history. So are you then ex-military?
Yeah.
If you're ex-military, I'm very proud of you already.
Well,
So
I grew up in a bit of a rough state. I've experienced homelessness. I've known what it's like to have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely most grateful just for life.
We've only just met, but I think you're the sort of person that would listen to me and we'd have a discussion rather than argue.
yeah, you could hang out with, man. Let's go. My chance.
Goodness sake.
You're right, mate.
Fitter than I look.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So basically, I think we just built a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, each take a bottle and place it on its corresponding markings on the bar.
Attention, please now stand to watch a short film.
Feminism today is definitely an excuse for misandry, man-hating.
If somebody said to me that climate change is destroying the world, then I'd say that is total piffle.
So transgender, it is very odd. We're not set up to understand or see things like that.
I am a daughter, a wife. I am transgender.
I feel like the battle for feminism definitely isn't done. The fight is never going to be over, if I'm honest with you.
You now have a choice. You may go, or you can stay and discuss your differences over a beer.
I'm only joking.
You had me for a second then.
Well, I'm having a drink.
I'm having a drink.
Yeah.
I want to discuss.
Beer.
Yeah, beer and discuss.
Cheers.
At the end of the day, mate,
About
I've enjoyed
reaching out to
working
people,
with you.
yeah. And, you know, even if you wanted to convince people about your point, the productive thing to do would be to sit
It's
down and have a
engage, it's
beer.
engage.
I've been brought up in a way where everything's black and white, but life isn't black and white.
Yeah, I'm just me.
Yeah.
Smash the patriarchy.
I'll give you my mobile number, you give me yours, and we'll keep in touch. I'd have to tell my girlfriend that I'll be texting another girl. She might get a bit upset with that, but I'll have to get round there.
I'll have to tell my girl.
She'll have to love it.
It always leaves me speechless. How about that? How about that? How about that? How about that? Right? And that is, I don't even know how many years old it is, but I do know it's likely several years old. I don't know what's going on over there. I keep saying, be right back, be right back. I'm here. So I don't know. I don't know what's actually getting out on the live video, but I do know it works out for me in the end. Whatever you're watching. Anyway, and it helps me get a little aggravated with what's going on over there in the video and why it hasn't caught up over there. So I'm not so tearful about that. I mean, it's happy tears of joy. And what a simple solution, and what a cute little reward as well, right? So sitting over a beer. So they had the coming together and the Q&A, right? So they were what do they do? They had to come together for a project. So that was the thing. And this, when we talk about the Robbers Cave experiment, we'll talk about this, or in the group think we'll talk about it. One of the or the other we'll talk, or probably both of them, because we're talking about it right now in this one. But when they come together, what we have discovered as psychological scientists is what they call is the need for what's called superordinate goals. All right, so the need for superordinate goals, basically a need to work together for a goal that we both desire. All right, it could be obviously a very simple goal, but we're starting by working together. So they started by building the desk thing, right? All right, then they sat down at it, and then they did the Q&A. All right, so that was getting to know, as they said, getting to know one another in a way that most people don't know in 10 minutes, really getting to know one another and their ideas. Notice also that they didn't feel it necessary to push an agenda when they sat down either, right? They weren't sitting down to say, I am for women's rights, or I believe a woman's place is in the home, or I don't believe in climate change, or I am, right? So they didn't sit down. So that also is something else to take note of. When they first sat down, the situation ended with two people who had opposing ideas that could truly argue, ended up having a conversation about their ideas over a beer. So here we've got wonderful scientists who are saying, what does it take to get two people to talk about their issues that are very opposite one another over a beer? That's all we need, right? Just like Barack Obama did, right? Talking about something over a beer. What could we do to bring these people together to do that? Well, the things that we, who was he with too, talking over a beer? Because that made headline. What's he doing talking over? No, you have to get to a point, and I hope that they did. So a project, a superordinate goal that we both want to work on. Doesn't have to be a big goal, especially if we're strangers, right? But it could be a big goal even as strangers, like 9/11. Like the Twin Towers, right? We could come together, like the fact that we all want democracy. I think we should be able to come together with our different ideas and still support democracy, right? So the truth of the matter is some of these studies that I say that they're doing on people are to find out. It is the great experiment. It is the great hope. And I don't know. For me, I'm a scientist. It's worth it. For me, I'm a scientist. I'm going to find out everything that you guys did. And by law, it still might be criminal. But, wow, what a study. What a study. I get to see all of the things that I studied and believe in actually kind of come to life in all of this. So some of the earliest studies that I did and looked at were the Robbers Cave study. That's really what I was interested in. That was the sort of epitome of social psychology, of studies that were occurring in social psychology. It was the epitome of that. So I see my video moving along now. I don't know why it wasn't moving along, but I sure hope it didn't say, be right back, for about 45 minutes, because I've been here for a long time, working hard for you. Okay, anyway, so seeing these studies come to life and actually seeing the outcomes that I believe in is just like a series of small little miracles, So it's a wonderful place to be for me. Anyway, it's a wonderful place seeing that stuff come to life and then basically come to fruition, come to fruit, come to life and come to fruit. It's very exciting for me. My light is being funny and not funny, haha. Funny, strange, as in strange matters. Okay, all right. Wasn't that wonderful? Weren't those videos wonderful? Okay, so again, what were we looking for? We were looking to see all kinds of things. How were they structuring? Because we want to know the mechanism. Are we getting the truth out of this study we see? And we see that we are getting the truth out of the study. We see that there are differences in the outcomes when there are eyes and when they look like human beings to us, right? Because they have eyes. And what an important thing that eyes are. It's the very first thing that we see. And it's interesting to me that they're doing these studies on poor people as well. That's interesting that they're doing it on poor people. Somebody said, did you ever notice that nobody in Congress had cancer? What? Is that true? Right? We don't see a lot of people like stroking out after they've gotten in Congress. He's out because he had a heart attack. And they're how old? How old are those people? What's up with that? He's out for a heart attack. He's out for high blood pressure and cholesterol. He's got arrhythmia. Where's all that? Okay. How fun was that? I had fun with that. I sure did. I was so happy I found those. So, ways that we can critically look at science, but also ways that we can critically look at some of these behaviors that we want to encourage in other people and reasons why we want to encourage them. Why? As a Christian and somebody who believes in the Bible literally, right? I take it literally. Well, I look at that stuff and in fact, that's why I got into positive psychology. I've said it 100 times to people who will listen, and that is, I got into positive psychology because I really believe that those things like optimism and patience and understanding and wisdom and honesty and forthrightness, right, righteousness, all of those things get us just rewards, are just rewards. I believe that. And I knew that if I got into psychology to study those things, I would never be without. I would never be without. And I still believe that. Yeah, that's so funny to me as I'm thinking about it, right? Because here I am getting kicked out of Oakland University because of these. So am I going to really have made a living on what my beliefs are? And you know doggone well I am. You know doggone well I am. There's no way I'm going to espouse God's word in the best way that I know how, right? With my heart and soul as a believer, and then have it come up empty. No way, no way. And I always knew that. So here I am with my positive psychology doing exactly what I love to do, spreading the word, this kind of interesting word, right? Like optimism might benefit you. Okay. So that was the video. I wanted to make sure that I had a place in there for me later on that I showed that video. So that's what that PowerPoint is. Okay, how does being spiritually complacent lead to emotional unrest? So these two are taking a look at what is the difference in the kinds of happiness that we are generating in our lives. Okay, so we've talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Tell me that I have that still here, right? Or do we not really even mention it here? I've done this how many times with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I don't know why we don't have that on there. But getting to the top of those needs, the top of that ladder, really demonstrates that we are focused on something larger than ourselves. All right, so this is the idea of being spiritual, that we are in some ways focused on things that are larger than themselves. I can describe the things I focus on as a Christian, right? I can describe them in detail. They don't have to be the same thing that you focus on in your journey. But the idea and what I've come to know is that we have got to be focused on the top of that pyramid, right? We've got to be focused on becoming the best that we can be so that our part in this play, our link in this chain is as strong as the people that are next to it, the links that are next to us, right? That's what we need to make sure. And we do that through faith, right? We do that through faith. So we need to strengthen this concept between the spiritual world and the physical world, right? And how do we do that? How do we strengthen the concept between the spiritual world and the physical world? We focus on our inner selves, basically. And in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that inner self is the top of the pyramid. We're going to look at that because I'm tired of saying it and not seeing it. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. See, I talked about this as well in the critical thinking classroom as well. So it's the same idea here. Actually, not the same idea, the same study. But let's take a look at this, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I keep talking about the top of that pyramid. What we're looking at when we are looking at the study that I want to show you and talk about, not that study. This study. This study that I want to talk about, I keep saying that the focus of this study is on basically looking at getting to the top of that pyramid. The top of what pyramid? The top of this Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid is what we're talking about. And when you look at this study, it is separating, and in fact, I'm going to do it this way instead. Well, it is separating individuals, or separating the data at the top of B and the bars of A into people who focus on hedonic happiness versus individuals who focus on eudaimonic happiness. And then in B are the physical outcomes of those differences. We're talking on critical thinking about the differences between happiness and joy. But here, for our purposes for this class, we are talking about spiritual complacency. Basically, spiritual complacency meaning that we are hanging out at the bottom of this pyramid in levels of focusing on hedonic versus eudaimonic happiness. Okay, folks, I need to get going so that I am not running late into the next class. We are talking about nationalism, right? In our group think and the making of sheeple. So come back at 2:00 and we will be talking about that in our philosophical classroom. This is Dr. Annette Feravich. I am the teacher. This is the spiritual classroom. Thanks for joining me.